Okay, so I'm really excited about doing this because I feel like for a long time I didn't really talk about this how I should have. And I also kind of went through this blindly when I got started and was just like, okay, like got this money, and then I didn't have the money because I went through all sorts of wonky stuff in my business, and then it all started happening, and then I was like, okay, I'm making this money, I don't know what to do with it. And then I didn't have my mindset right, and it was just a bunch of stuff that I didn't really know I was even going to go through as well, because money brings on a lot of different feelings and a lot of different emotions and a lot of, mindset things that I wish I would have known. And so I guess it was probably a couple of months ago that I actually Zoomed with Jason, which I didn't really know beforehand. We got on that Zoom and he just kind of talked to me about money and talked to me about what I should do with it and how to be smart with it. And majority of our team is super young. And so I think that that's super special. And so I'm going to kind of talk about a little bit of stuff that I wanted to add value to y'all, and Jason's going to talk about some stuff that he shares a lot with his team and a lot of his leaders, and so I'm really excited about this. So if y'all are excited about this, I want you to drop a 1 because I'm super pumped about this, to learn about money, learn about how to save it, learn about how to grow, learn about your mindset, and a lot of different things that come along with money. So I'm super pumped. I've been pumped about this because I actually was super good about this Zoom, and I scheduled it like a week and a half ago. So super excited about it. But one thing, which if y'all have any like money book recommendations, I want y'all to share those as well, because I know that y'all are really big in personal development too. And right now a book that I've been like really digging into is Secrets of the Millionaire Mind. I've seen so many people talk about this, and this book, literally about every single page, I had a breakthrough. I was like, oh my gosh, this is insane. I don't know how people write books like this where it's just so much freaking knowledge on every single page. And so something that, I'm just going to kind of do a little bit. I'm taking like 10 minutes of this, and then Jason's going to pour all the real knowledge into you. But the first thing that this book really talked about was just the foundation of where you've grown from and where you've come from. I grew up, money was rough. Money was super tight. We had 4 siblings. It really wasn't that great. And my parents had always said the things of, well, money doesn't grow on trees. And, I grew up thinking that rich people were greedy and that money didn't really bring happiness and didn't bring good things. Who else grew up like that? Drop a 2. If you grew up just not with money, not really having abundance, and had that really bad mindset about what money was going to bring you and what, kinds of people came with money, all sorts of stuff like that. So I wanted to touch on that a little bit of what he said. I posted noted stuff so I didn't have to search for it. So it says, I have like a highlighter in this. Like I got like, high school analytical on this book, notes, like all this kind of highlighter, underlining, all that stuff. And it says, the fact is that your character, your thinking, and your beliefs are a critical part of what determines the level of your success. So where you're coming from and the foundation that you've been built on is a lot of where our mindsets come from when it comes to money. So when I joined this business, I was like, oh my gosh, all this money, what if I start changing? What if it changes me? Like, what if I become a person I don't want to be because I'm making this money? Or, all this stuff that I kind of went through. And so that was just a huge breakthrough that I had with this book of just talking about how you're really going to become and think about money the way that you were raised and the way that you were around. And I have a friend that she always talks to me, and she's like, well, my parents never had money. And when they come up with a little bit extra, it was blown. Like they would buy it on everything and they'd spend everything that they had, and they never saved it. And that's exactly what I went through. My mom would I remember she would get her tax refund. And the moment she got that tax refund, it was gone. And I don't even know what it was gone on. It wasn't gone on me. And so I just think about that. And I know that so many people relate to that. It's just, you never saw savings. And one thing too, I never saw when I joined this business was I never once heard my parents dream. I never heard them talk about, oh, this nice car and this nice house, and I'm going to buy these things and do this stuff with money. So when I joined this, and I was like, people are like, have dream boards? Like, hold on, somebody not muted. So some people, when I joined this, I didn't know how to dream, and I didn't know that money could bring me all this abundance and all these great big things. And so that's something I hope that y'all, focus to unlock, and hopefully by, hopefully by the time you, hello? Genevieve, I tried to mute you and it won't let me, so make sure you're muted, sister. So that's the first thing, is just try to focus and challenge y'all when we get off this to really write down what your foundation was on money and where you come from and kind of what your family taught you about, money and what they said, and try to evaluate maybe if that's how you changed your mindset on money. And one of the next things I wanted to say is, what is your financial thermostat set at? Because in this book, he talks about your money blueprint. And I had a girl actually talk to me about this before this Zoom. She asked me about it. And a lot of us have, these financial thermostats where we're like, okay, I want to make $5,000 a month. And you work really hard and you go double dime and you see that $5,000 paycheck and you almost kind of hit a cap. And you're like, well, how do I get more? How do I want more? I've reached this goal and I'm great. This is great. And then you reach that and you almost feel like comfortable and complacent, and you sit there for a little bit because you've reached this goal that you thought you accomplished and it's so great, and you have to realize that you have to raise that financial thermostat. And so that was something that I kind of went through when I went diamond. Was I made $2,000 a month and I was 18. I was like, I am freaking balling. I don't need any more money than this. Like, I'm paying my bills. I've got all this stuff. I was buying stuff I should not have bought. I was going shopping all the time. I was blowing my money. And then I went through hardships in my business where I couldn't pay my bills. And then my dad lost his job. And I was like, oh, this is adulting. This is really hitting me hard. Yes, Ashley, TJ Maxx freeze. Okay, it started and I'm working on it. All right. So you just pointed me out. Okay. So, I struggled with that. And I realized that, after I talked with Jason and after I got my ducks in a row and started talking to a financial advisor and talking about my future, it became really, really powerful to me that I was in a company that could completely change my whole life. And the fact that, majority of people on here are young that are on my team, but we do have older people. And I'm excited about that because there's different walks of life, but money can do the same things for all of us. It gives us purpose and opportunity and so much more for growth and so much room for growth. And so I'm excited for Jason to talk to us. I encourage y'all to read this. And there's also, I think Cheyenne recommended it in the chat, Money Makeover. She said it really changed her. So I'm excited to read that. But Jason, if you want to go ahead and share all your good stuff with us, I'm so excited. And make sure that y'all are taking notes. You have your cameras on because they're taking time out of their night to share time with you. And just really have your heart and your eyes open to everything that they have to offer you.
Hey, first thing I'll say is you said that I was going to share all the real information. But let me just tell you right now, you've done some stuff that makes you way more qualified than me to share anything.
Yes,
if we were doing the stuff with money that we were doing at your age, man.
We never told her that her.
Well,
she's 1998.
1998, son.
Hold it down.
No, I'm for real though. And listen, the conversation that me and Cheyenne had, she had already done 95% of the stuff that she needed to do, which was to create the behavior of not blowing through money and having it. When we can I say how much money you had when we talked? That's public knowledge, right?
Yeah. I posted it on Instagram to the world. Okay,
so if you missed it, here it is. When we talked, she had $100,000 sitting in the bank. That's 95% of the work right there. But that sitting in the bank just wasn't doing what it needed to do. We're going to talk a little bit about that tonight.
How old are you, Cheyenne?
I'm 20.
20, and she had $100,000 sitting there. That, because of it, works right there, baby.
God.
I know. God dang. I know.
Man.
I know.
Man.
I know. Kind of makes you hate her a little bit, huh?
Just a little bit.
But she's cute.
Just a little bit. Makes me want to high five her boyfriend. Is what I want to do. I just want to give that boy a big old bear hug. Is what I want to do, son. Hand him a 20 or something. You know what I mean? Because he'll be thinking this is chump change. I bet he ain't ever bought you a meal. Oh man. So anyway. Listen, I do want to talk to you about some practical stuff with finances. I will probably interject a few things, but some of the stuff you were talking about a moment ago got me kind of thinking through something. You were talking just a second ago about $5,000. You've got that goal for $5,000, and then you hit it, and your business will plateau or it'll start going in the opposite direction because you don't have that next thing in mind. And I just felt when you said it, I want to encourage everybody on here. By the way, hello to all of our team as well. We've kind of got a little joint thing going on tonight. But I want to encourage everybody with this. You need to have a vision. You need to have a vision. A vision does a lot of stuff for you. A vision will help you push through the suck. A vision will help you align your priorities with where you're going. But while you have a vision, and you may have a vision right now for $5,000 a month, while you have a vision, you need to take a peek. Don't just have a vision, but take a peek. You need to take a peek at something that is well beyond your vision. Let me tell you something right now. There are a lot of stops between us and Joel and Stephanie Dunn right now in our income. but I am constantly taking a peek.
Yep.
Listen, at least once a week, I'm looking and seeing what $100,000 a month looks like on paper, not in my imagination. I actually texted Joel the other day and I told him, I said, you know what no one prepares you for? No one prepares you for how little $50,000 a month is. Now, some of y'all just heard that and went, what? But let me just tell you something. You hit that 25. I remember the number for me, the number in my mind that was like, when we make this amount of money, there is nothing that we cannot do, was $35,000 a month. And I remember when we hit $35,000 a month thinking, there is so much we cannot do. So you want to take a peek beyond where you're going. So you're constantly moving forward with your life, with what you have coming in, with what you're going for. And right around the time that you're hitting $4,000 a month, you probably ought to stop thinking about 5. Keep it written on the wall, but you need to be thinking 10 or 7,500 or some other number. So for those of you that don't know me, my name's Jason Mayfield. In my rare appearance tonight, this will be the only time that you ever hear me in the It Works stratosphere where I can promise you I will bring you more value than Ashley Mayfield on a meeting. This is the only time, and I want to make sure that everyone knows that. When you go post on the internet tonight, post Jason Mayfield brought so much more value than Ashley Mayfield, and tag us both in the post. It will be awesome. Matter of fact, you don't even need to hear what I said. Just go ahead and do that. It'll make my night. It'll be great.
You talk 2 nights in a row and you think you somebody.
I'm somebody now. I'm on all the meetings. Okay? I'm on every meeting.
Uppity.
So for those of you that don't know me, I'm a pastor, or I was a pastor for years. I'm still a minister. In my opinion, because we've learned so much about money over the past few years, in my opinion, if I can get you as an individual to serve the Lord and money to serve you, if I can get that flow in the right direction, I believe that I've solved about 90% of any issue that life is going to throw at you. I believe everything else will be marginalized over into the 10%. So if I can get you to serve the Lord and money to serve you, I believe I've solved 90% of your issues. Tonight, we're going to deal with money serving you, okay? So real quick, I know a lot of you are young and you haven't had enough time to accrue debt. However, between 18 and 23 is where you can accrue the most dangerous debt of your life. It's called student loans. Student loans, the only way out of them is death. You can't bankrupt yourself out of them. You can only die. Not a good exit plan, okay? You either pay them off or you die. That's the only way you can do it. So right now you're at that age where you can really accrue some really dangerous debt, and we want to keep you away from that. So even though most of you don't have debt, I still want to walk through Dave Ramsey's 7 baby steps with you real quick. You can Google these. If you don't want to write them all down, just write down Dave Ramsey's 7 baby steps, go print these out and paste them on the wall. You know, you can put that down. So Dave Ramsey's 7 baby steps, here they are for you, and then we're going to get some really tactical stuff for you. Number 1 is save $1,000 for emergency. Jason, is $1,000 enough for emergencies? It is right now. It's amazing how, because I'm about to talk to you about getting out of debt. It's amazing how people say is $1,000 enough for emergencies while they're running up cheeseburgers on credit cards like that's not an emergency. You're still paying off TGI Fridays from 4 years ago, but $1,000 isn't enough for emergency. Honey, you are an emergency. You're walking around in emergency. So listen, just $1,000 for now. So we're going to put $1,000 in the bank. We're going to save $1,000. Number 2, we're going to pay off all of our debt, and we're never going to owe anyone anything. We're going to pay off all of our debt and never owe anyone anything. If you want to know how to do that, as a matter of fact, if you want a detailed explanation of all 7 of these baby steps, number 1, can you hand me one of those books? Number 1 thing that I would recommend for you to read, if I could give you any financial guide, would be Dave Ramsey's Total Money Makeover. This is required reading if you want to be wealthy, because this is going to deal with all the stuff on the front end of your income and the front end of your finances, and you want to have this down when you're making $30,000 a year before you're making $30,000 a month. You want to have this stuff down. Thank you for the props. So that's number 2. Number 3, save 3 to 6 months worth of expenses in an emergency fund. And this needs to go into a basic savings account. It doesn't need to go anywhere fancy. It needs to be somewhere you can get to it fast with the intention of never touching it. Okay? Now, when we talk about expenses, I want to make sure that I'm clear. We're not talking about income. Okay? Because you're sitting over here making $200,000 a month like Cheyenne is. Okay? $250,000 a month. It would be hard to save 3 to 6 months of that. But if you're living on the low expenses that she is, all $1,800 of it every month that she is spending to live, just every time I talk about your finances, I feel a certain kind of way. I mean, man. I can't even live in this house for $1,800.
Yeah, just live in a student living apartment, and you're not supposed to be here because you're not a student.
Hey, but I say, get it while you can. Get it while you can.
Okay.
Sign up for one class. You know what I'm saying? Do what you got to do. I did that for years. I'd sign up for a class online, it cost like $75, because I'd get my Adobe Creative Cloud half price. I was like, yes, I need to take another class that I won't be finishing.
Yeah.
So it's tricks. You're learning a lot of financial stuff already, okay? So save 3 to 6 months of your expenses. So that's whatever your cost of living is, 3 to 6 months of that. The rest of these baby steps, the next 4, you can do all at the same time, but everything I've listed so far, you do one after the other. Save $1,000, then pay off all your debt, then save 3 to 6 months of expenses in an emergency fund. Do not do those together. Do them sequentially. Number 4, you can do 4 through 7 altogether. Invest 15% of your monthly income in retirement. Now, the beautiful thing about this business is most of you are going to start making so much money that you're not going to be able to actually save 15% of your annual income in retirement account. As a matter of fact, for us, it was one phone call, and we had already maxed out all of our retirement that the federal government will let us do for the year. So all of our other investing goes into just growth stock mutual funds because we have tapped out all of the retirement benefits that the federal government allows us. Yes. Okay. So 15% of your income into retirement. Number 5, save for kids' college. Talk to your CPA about this because you can do different things that give you different returns and different benefits. I'm not going to get into that, but talk to them about it. For us, we're still 50-50 on this one because
Screw them kids.
Well, that part of it is that, screw y'all. Nobody paid for me to go to college. But then the other side of it is we'll probably just be able to cash flow it. So you need to figure out what you can do and the best way that it works with your taxes. Saving for kids' college is not about savings for kids' college. It's about the tax benefits that comes with it. Yes, you want the money there, but if you can cash roll their college, you still want the benefits of the tax breaks, the tax shielding. Number 6, pay off your home early. A good many of you should never have to have a mortgage. So I'm telling you this, to pay off your home early, most of you should be able to pay off your home before you move in. And if you don't understand how big of a deal that is, it's huge. And I am not against renting. We rent because when stuff goes wrong, I don't deal with it. I call a guy. I have an 800 number. It's beautiful. Number 7, build wealth and be generous. Number 7, you're just going to build wealth like crazy. We're going to talk a little bit about that tonight. So those are Dave Ramsey's 7 baby steps. I feel a moral obligation to share those with you. Now we're going to get into some tactical stuff that I think is really going to help. Some of you is going to answer some questions. Some of you have probably felt a little uncertain with some certain areas with your finances, with your business, with your personal, what do I do with this stuff? Before I get into any of this, I do want to make a disclaimer. Here's my disclaimer. I'm giving you the best advice that I can, but I am not a legal professional. And if you do something stupid, even if it was at my recommendation, it is your problem, not mine. Okay? So that's the disclaimer. All right, so here we go. Let's talk a little bit about bookkeeping. This is kind of the first thing that has to happen when you are running your business. Now, for most of you, you could probably do this up into the diamond region of pay, about $2,000, $3,000 a month without having to get real technical. You just kind of keep a running account of everything that you're spending on your business. So a lot of this stuff is going to take place when you go double diamond or start making that $4,000 plus a month. I love double diamond, by the way. Double diamond is my favorite rank in the entire company because, one, it is not hard to hit. So if you have told yourself that double diamond is difficult, reprogram that lie that you've been telling yourself. Double diamond is not a hard rank to hit, but it is the place, it is the rank where you pretty much go full-time in this business. You get a full-time income at double diamond. At double diamond, what's 4 times 12? It's $48,000 a year, roughly, that you're making. That is salary money. This is what normal people make and live on, okay? You're not going to be living on a yacht, but you can live on $48,000 a year, okay? So your bookkeeping, once you get to around this point, you can start a little early if you want to, but with your bookkeeping, there's a couple of ways to do this. Bookkeeping is basically tracking your business expenses and your business income. If you take your business income and subtract your business expenses, that is your profit. Now, the beautiful thing about multi-level marketing, network marketing, it works. The beautiful thing about our industry, especially with it works because we primarily do everything through a drop ship. People buy stuff from us that we never handle. We may do some samples here and there, but they're buying Thermophyte X, and the bottle of Thermophyte X that they get, we've never touched. They're buying keto coffee, and the keto coffee they're getting, we've never touched. It's being drop shipped to them. The beautiful thing about that is that pretty much everything we make is profit. Matter of fact, if you're running a $120 auto ship, running your e-suite fee every month, is that 20 or 25? 20? 20? So you're $140 worth of business expenses every month. Now, the difficult thing is figuring out what else you can make a business expense, and we'll talk about that in a moment. But you want to start tracking your expenses. There are 2 ways that you can do this. One way is you get QuickBooks and you put everything into QuickBooks and you track it. It's a lot easier than it sounds. I think it's $29 a month, something like that. And it just drove up your expenses a little bit. So now we're at $180 a month worth of expenses, okay? So you put it into QuickBooks, you track it. If that terrifies you, then there's a company that I'm going to recommend to you that you can use. It's bench.co, bench.co, bench.co. They will do your bookkeeping for you. They'll tap into your bank account. But because we're talking about the double diamond level, there is something that you need to do, and it's called open a business checking account, but we're going to talk about that in a second. So if you're going to use Bench, you're going to need that business checking account, okay? So here's the thing about expenses. I want to give you a tip real quick. How many of you have realized that it doesn't cost much to do this business? Now, I understand that when you're a Ruby and you're paying out $140 a month, it feels like, oh my gosh, I'm paying out my whole check. Let me just tell you right now, when you're making $25,000 a month, that $140, I'll gift wrap it and slap a tip on top of it. I don't care about that $140,000 or $140. See, I don't even think in $140 anymore. I'd say $1,000.
$140.
Gosh, I am. I actually watched a video on YouTube the other day, and I thought, man, this guy's doing really good. He was talking about how much money he makes from what he does. I was like, man, this guy's doing pretty good. And then I realized he was talking about his annual income. And it was like $45,000. And I told a friend of mine, I said, I never thought there'd be a day when I thought $45,000, and my natural reaction is that's monthly, not annual. And then I thought, man, that guy's making $45,000 a year doing that. That's a lot of work. That's a lot of work for that. Okay, so most of you have realized that your expenses not super high. Here's the problem with that. It means your taxable income, there's more of it. It means most of what you make, everything that's profit, is going to get taxed. We want that because we want to make the profit. We don't want that because we don't want to pay the government a bunch of money for them to mismanage. Okay? Let me just tell you something. If you want to see your money used poorly, give it to the government. They can do the worst things with it quickly. It's amazing. That's not a political statement. It doesn't matter if they're Republican. It doesn't matter if they're Democrat. None of them know how to spend money. That's why they wanted to get voted into office, so they'd have some. Okay? Most presidents don't have money when they go into office, but they're rich after they're in office because they get all these speaking deals and books and stuff. So just listen, I'm telling you, you get people in office, they don't know what to do with money. Trump don't know what to do with money. Obama didn't know what to do with money. The Congress don't know what to do with money. The Senate don't know what to do with money. We don't want them to have our money. Write that in the chat. Say no more taxes.
I vote yes.
We hate their taxes. Okay? So we want to try to shield, that's probably not a good word to use, but we want to try to shield as much as we can from taxes. I'm going to give you a tip because I'm going to tell you how we keep our expense or our profit a little lower and our business expenses a little higher in our house. Okay? This is a tip from the top. Okay? I am how we keep our expenses high. What I've done is I have monetized enough to justify hobbies. I have a YouTube channel. I make enough money to justify it all running through the business. I don't make enough money to do a whole lot with it, but I make enough money to justify it running through the business. I just started building a bunch of stuff. Do you know what I build and buy my tools for? You know what I build stuff for? For my YouTube studio. So now I've just made every tool that I buy and every piece of camera equipment, everything in my office, I just made all of that expenses. So for some of you, I'll just be honest with you, if you like doing photography or something, if it's a hobby, don't go do it to get the tax exemption. Do it because it's an actual hobby. Let me use something other than that because it'd be easy for you to just go buy a camera. If you like to sew clothes, ask someone to buy a shirt from you for $15. You just went into business. And now every time you buy thread, you buy your sewing machine, your material, your patterns, that can be a business expense. And so what we've done is we've created a tax shielding where our hobby now is a business expense. Here's the thing though, when it comes down to expenses for business expenses, this is kind of my rule for categorizing something as a business expense. If it's for business, it's a business expense unless you think it would be difficult to justify. So if you got a dog so you can make all of your Instagram posts more interesting, I think it's a fantastic marketing idea. I really do. I really think if the IRS gets on your tail, it's going to be hard to justify your schnauzer for tax benefits. I don't think that's going to play. So you got to think through that. Things that you can write off. You guys all need to be writing off your phone bills, and that just means making it a business expense. Your phone bill, your cell phone, your computer, everything that you use that touches this business, you need to be using as a business expense. So you need to be tracking that. So 2 tips for business expenses just to help you real quick. Number 1, make sure that you separate food and travel. The IRS cracked down on this recently. We no longer get the tax benefits on food. Even when we travel, it's minuscule enough that they want it to be separated. So if you buy a plane ticket and you eat at Ruby Tuesday, you should not categorize those as travel. That should be travel and meals. Those should be separated. The other thing is it is better for you to pay for gas as a business expense than track your mileage. I know some of y'all probably downloaded like MileIQ and stuff like that. You get a better return on mileage, but mileage flags auditing more often, where just paying for your gas won't. And I don't think anybody's buying any business vehicles right now, but I got thoughts on that too. Just pay for your gas, okay? All right, so let's talk about a business checking account. Am I moving too fast and throwing in too much nonsense, or are you guys good? You guys good? Okay. All right, so business checking account. Again, around that time that you start making that $4,000, you go double diamond. Your big double diamond celebration should be going over to Chase Bank and open up a business account. You need one. Now, some of you may open them up early. We already had one basically when we started, because we run everything through our LLC, Go Mayfield Solutions LLC. Praise the Lord. Everything goes there. Okay, so go open that business checking account. You shouldn't need any kind of paperwork. You should be able to just go in as a sole proprietor and open up a business account. Cheyenne, I'm assuming you've done that, right? And that's all you had to do. You didn't do any LLC or anything. Your CPA should be able to take care of whether or not you're going to be a sole proprietor or a S Corp, C Corp, however they're going to want to do that. So that's going to be a CPA conversation, which we're going to have a conversation about CPAs in just a minute. So don't worry about it. But when you go get that business checking account, here's basically the rules. Make sure everything that you do for your business goes through your business checking account. Bam. Auto ship, business checking account. E-Suite fee, business checking account. Make sure all of your It Works money is deposited into your business checking account. We just talked about your other hobbies, so make sure that all $15 from your sewing business gets deposited into your checking account, your business checking account. And that way, everything that's coming in is from your business checking account. And then you just transfer out what you need for your cost of living into your personal account or wherever else we're going to transfer money. But make sure everything is funneling into your business checking account first, okay? So taxes. Let's talk taxes, okay? So far, you've started tracking all of your business expenses. You've been doing your bookkeeping. We've been doing our business checking account. By the way, I'm terrible at the chat, but I did just see something come in. Does that count for like rent, bills? No, it has to, you have to make sure that you're clear on what is a personal expense and a business expense. And they don't offer a lot of jobs where you sleep in the office. So you got to make sure. Now, when you talk to your CPA, if you have a designated room in your house for an office, there is a write-off for that. But you got to make sure that you're clear on business. And just because you eat lunch while you're working doesn't mean that that's a business expense. So that's still, you're not going to put your grocery bills on there. So you just got to make sure. And like I said, if you think you're going to have a hard time defending it, listen, we're all posting pictures of ourselves on the internet. You're going to be hard pressed to write off a curling iron. You get what I'm saying? It's just, you got to kind of ask yourself, am I going to be able to write this off or not? Or am I going to be able to justify and defend this? So taxes. Taxes are really easy, okay? Because all you have to do is save the money and talk to the right person. That's all you have to do. Save the money, talk to the right person. Now, I'm about to hit y'all with a number you're not going to like. When it comes to your taxes, you need to save 50% of every dollar that comes in, 50% of your check. I suggest doing it on your gross income. Don't take your profit and do it. Do it on when It Works gives you a deposit, 50% of that check goes into a savings account specifically for taxes. Unless you live in a state where they don't have state income tax. Those states are Alaska, Tennessee, Florida, New Hampshire, South Dakota, Wyoming, Texas, Washington, and Nevada. If you live in one of those states, you should be saving 30%. Now, just so you know, if you make $10,000, that's going to be somewhere between your double and your triple pay, most likely. Okay? You could probably hit 10 as a double. Insert income disclosure. All right? But we're just talking reality here. You probably hit 10 as a double. Triple, you're probably going to hit 10. When you're making $10,000, if you live in any other state than the 7 that I just mentioned, That is $2,000 that you are paying that you shouldn't have to pay, that they're just going to take away from you. Now, I just want to be clear. You have to make decisions for your life. But if you are young, you need to consider moving to Nevada, Texas, or Florida. Florida is the bomb. I will tell you, though, out of the three, Texas probably has the advantage in terms of cost of living. Florida's more expensive, but Texas is great on cost of living. You're still close to the beach. You're far from Disney World. Sucks to be you. Okay? But, and you still have to.
Have better tacos, though.
Probably have better tacos. However, I don't know, because the Mexico Pavilion at Epcot is banging.
True.
Okay?
True.
They got the banging tacos. Is Michelle on here tonight?
She was.
Michelle will draw. She'll tell you them Epcot tacos. No. Yeah, but she doesn't have the qualifications and certifications that Michelle has.
Melena has a Latina on the inside
of her. Okay. Cool. No, but for real. So, but the benefit of Nevada is you can put rocks in the front yard. Hashtag no cutting grass. Okay. So, but for real, it would really be something worth considering. It's a major hit. And you guys need to think like business owners. You need to think like people who are going to make a lot of money. If you want to make $50,000 a month, I just want you to drop a 1 in the chat right now. Just drop a 1 in the chat. I need to see $50,000 a month. Okay. If you were making $50,000 a month and you would move to Florida or Texas or Nevada or any of the other states I just mentioned, it will save you $10,000 a month. I think. But the longer I pause, the more I question my math. So listen, it's going to save you around somewhere in that ballpark. If it feels good for the point of this example, it's going to save you $10,000 a month. So anyway, consider that move because it's really important. Now, when it comes to your taxes, so we save the money. Now we got to talk to the right person, okay? Save the money, talk to the right person, okay? Who's the right person? Well, if you're making under $100,000, I'm talking annually. If you're making under $100,000 annually, you probably can just walk into an H&R Block, set up an appointment, and they can take care of you. If you are making over $100,000, you need to talk to a CPA. And I also toss this in because y'all are young. Most of you, okay? Other than the Melena. Melena is 49. She looks good for her age, though, doesn't she? Do y'all see Melena Kane on here? She's 49 years old. Short lady. So anyway, if your income, if your profit was really, really high, as in if your business expenses were super duper low and you made like $90,000 in profit, I would consider still talking to a CPA because I will tell you that there will be a red flag on that. And we were able to do H&R Block for several years because I was running a wedding videography business and I enjoy new equipment. So I was making these $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 expenditures here and there all the time. So our expenses were really high. So it didn't look like we were making that much money. So, and we really weren't because it really was a deduction off of what we were making profit. So if it's super high, you might want to talk to a CPA because there's a chance that as a sole proprietor, I'm making all this money and I got no expenses. Are you selling drugs out of your trunk? Y'all get what I'm saying? So they might want to know. And then you say, no, I'm not selling drugs out of my trunk. I drop ship them. We do this totally different. So, okay. So H&R Block, if you're under $100,000, CPA, if you're over $100,000. So now we're making all this money, okay? Because y'all just told me y'all are going to make $50,000 a month. Okay, $50,000 a month. By the way, is $600,000 a year. Woo!
Good job.
Math. It's incredible. Okay, so $600,000 a year. You're making a ton of money, a crap ton of money. As a matter of fact, we'll even drop it down to 25. Okay, let's go 25, $300,000 a year. You're making a crap ton of money. It's a bunch of money. And so here's what we need to do. We make this $25,000 a month. It is going to be very easy for you to spend all of the money. And if you do it, if you spend it all for the love of all things holy, please make sure you've at least saved for taxes before you've started doing it. Because the last thing you want to do is be broke and then have the government on you. Because that doesn't go well for anybody. So make sure you save for taxes before you blow all the money. But what we should be doing is saving and investing at a ferocious rate. I mean, I'm talking we should be going after it. And it is not easy. It is not easy to the point that I am confident that we are at least one of the two highest paid people on this meeting right now. And we just had the conversation. We've got to pull it back. For the first time in our life, we can say yes to anything.
It's easy to.
And I have a bunch of Home Depot receipts to prove it. I mean, we just have been having a good time this summer. We've taken trips. I took a Disney World trip. Now listen, when I go to Disney World, I don't have the expenses that you have. I don't have to buy tickets. I don't have to go get a plane. I don't have to do all that. I drive to Disney World. That's it. I just spent, being able to drive over there, I just spent more on a Disney World trip than any public school teacher makes in a month. Okay? We just went to town, Disney Town. All right? And it was awesome. But you can say yes to everything. But what we need to do is we need to save at a ferocious rate. But not just save, we need to invest. Now, if you have that emergency fund in place, unless you're saving for something such as a car or wanting to save to buy a house or whatever that may be, and depending on how long that process is, you might still better invest that. But you want to not be saving. You want to be investing your money because you want your money to grow. When you invest, your money has the power to grow by something called compound interest. We're going to talk about that in a minute because I kind of want to cap off with a big rally the troops, man. I'm going to get you guys ready to make a killer amount of money because when you see the power of compound interest, you will run out of your house, slap your neighbor, come back and say, it doesn't matter, we won't live by them long because we're going to be rich. So this is how we're going to save a ton of money. Are you ready? We're going to make a ton of money, number one. So step number one, you're going to make a ton of money. Now, you could do this without making a ton of money, but I said this last night on our training. If you join this business to make $500 or $1,000 a month, you're not my people, okay? I can't speak your language. Ashley said yes to $500 at the same time I said yes to $50,000 a month, okay? So I think that way. I think there. Y'all have caught me several times. When I say 35,000, my initial response is to follow it up a month. 35,000 a month. That's just how I think. It's just how I process. So you want to make a ton of money because the more money you make, the faster you're going to get there. Let me tell you right now, I promise you, if you see Cheyenne Knox working when she is 35 years old, she is doing it because she decided she wanted to work. But I promise you, at 35 years old, this girl right here won't have to do a dadgum thing she don't want to do. So you better be careful when you invite her to lunch because she's going to say no if she don't like you, and you're going to find out where you stand. Okay? Because at 35, she ain't going to have to do a single thing she don't want to do. Because she's going to have a crap ton of money. She's got more money invested right now than some 49-year-olds that I know. Because people have no vision for the future. So first thing is, we're going to make a ton of money. But the second thing we're going to do is we're going to limit our lifestyle. Listen, it's good to watch everybody on social media. I'm glad that everybody takes 9 trips a year on 6 cruises and 3 different vacations to exotic locations. I think that's fantastic. But I have resolved in my heart that I want us and our tribe not to necessarily be the people who make the most. I want us to be the people who have the most. Because there's a big difference between making and having. Somebody posted, a friend of mine from another network marketing company actually, who was actually a pastor, and so that's how we knew each other, and they've kind of had a similar journey to what we've had in a different company. He posted on his Facebook page the other day, he said, how much money do you need to make a month to be rich? And I said, 0. Because being rich isn't about making money, it's about having money. And you can be making $2 million $2 million. And keep your cost of living at the right spot. Fine. So that's what we're going to make.
Buying cars.
Stop buying cars. Oh my God, I'm so frustrated with cars. Watching people buy cars, I can't even get into it. I'm serious. It sets me off. My car broke down on me on the way to get a car. It died on me on video.
But we proved you can climb to the top of the company without buying a car.
You don't need to buy a car. You don't need a stupid car. Let me tell you something about my $50,000 car I just bought, okay? It went from being the new car to the car like that. I was ticked. If you even thought about McDonald's French fries in my car, I'd turn around and slap you in the mouth. Thinking about them French fries in my freaking new car, I'd kill you right now. Now, I'm like, let's eat some spaghetti on the go. Because it goes fast, man. It changes quick. It doesn't, cars aren't going to make you happy. Do I like the fact that I know I can get where I'm going? Yes. But that's about all they do for you. Okay? So we're going to limit our lifestyle. We're not going to take every trip. We're not going to buy everything. We're going to stop going to TJ Maxx. We're going to stop going to TJ Maxx. Okay? That's what we're going to stop doing. And then we're going to stop doing those Target runs. We're going to stop buying everything for everybody and doing all. We're going to stop doing that. We're going to stop saying yes to everything. And we're going to limit what we live on. If you are single in this chat and you make $25,000 a month, I want you living at a maximum lifestyle of $4,000 a month. That's what I want you to max out. And I want you to save double of what you're living on. I want you to invest $8,000. You're at 12. If you are making 25 and you live in a state where you have state income tax, guess what? You are just right. All those numbers even out. And you got just a scotch left over. What are you going to do with that? You're going to invest that too. Why do I want you to do that? Because I want you, listen to me, I want you to get filthy, stinking rich. And I'm going to show you how to do that in a minute with compound interest. But I need you to know there's one key that's going to help you do this. It's called a written budget. A written budget sounds like something that poor people do. That is not true. I promise you, go find you some poor people and ask to see their written budget. Aside from the fact that it's probably overtly offensive that you do this, I'm almost positive they're going to say, what is a written budget? Go find someone who has a net worth of $25 million and ask if you can see their written budget. And they will probably be able to tell you how much they are willing to pay for food this month. They probably don't say yes to everything they want to do. They probably have got a cap somewhere in their income. And notice I didn't say making $25,000 a month. I said, or $25 million a month. I said with a net worth of $25 million. because there's a difference between making and having. You better write that down. Listen, I just showed you who to listen to in this business. Everybody wants to know, who should I listen to? There's a difference between making and having. You write that down and you figure out who it is. Y'all super sleuth. Y'all are all young. Y'all know how to super sleuth on the internet. Figure out who's got what. And I'll tell you this. I'll give you a clue. If they're spending a lot, they probably don't have a lot. That's a clue. That's a clue. Because I've spent a lot in the last few months and it hasn't done me any good. That's why we're making adjustments. All right? Let's talk about compound. Did I hit too close to home for somebody? Because I feel like y'all just all went, oh, hey, no, he got serious. He got somewhere. He did something. Okay? I don't mess around. Y'all can't. That's why they don't let me talk. That's why if y'all saw, what was the thing we were at? Did they live stream that tryout we were at?
Awesome.
No, down here at corporate.
Oh, at corporate.
Okay, y'all noticed it was Ashley, Carrie, and Tay, and they put me on the front row because they said if we give him a microphone, he will say something we don't want on the internet. Okay? So y'all just know that. Okay, so let's talk about compound interest for a moment. Compound interest is beautiful. This is why we're going to invest our money and we're not going to just save it. Because when you save your money, you get a piddly little interest rate on it. I actually looked at my savings account earlier. I never do this, but I just wanted to look at it because it'd been a while. And so I looked at my I'm getting 1.9% interest on it. That means I have $30,000 sitting in the bank that's grown $300 in the past 18 months. I'm real proud of it at $300. I've got more in credit card points right now than I do in what I've gained in that savings account. But when you invest your money, you get to increase those interest rates up to 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, sometimes 15 to 20%. But those are going to be little windows that happens. And on average, your money will be able to, if you invest it right, your money will be able to yield a return of somewhere between 8 to 12%. That is a ton of money. And a lot of people will tell you it's going to be closer to 10, 11, 12. That's a ton of money. So we're going to just take a year's worth of $25,000 a month because we're going to use the numbers that I just gave you. So $25,000 a month. This is why everybody needs to go presidential. If you want to go presidential, drop a 2 in the chat. I know, I'm watching it. Ashley's keeping me mindful of time here.
He's a Mayfield. We like to talk.
I talk, man. I don't mess around.
You can talk all night.
Hey.
Don't.
Watch
Cheyenne,
out.
Listen.
Watch
Cheyenne.
out. I'll be getting over here at 1 a.m. with blood coming out of my throat. I won't ever stop. So $25,000 a month. We're going to take off our taxes, our 50% in taxes. By the way, if you're one of those states where you do 30, you can invest that extra money. Okay. So we're going to take off. That'd be 12.5. So we'll just take off 13. So we got 12,000 left. And then we're going to live on 4,000 and we're going to invest 8,000. Okay. So all those numbers work out. $8,000 a month we're going to invest. Jason, I don't want to spend $8,000 a month. I want to go on a cruise. Well, hey, that's fine. I want to be rich. When you're rich at 33 years old, you can invest, you can go on as many cruises as you want. And you don't have to do a job. And you don't have to work if you don't want to. I mean, we're talking some for real stuff. So I'm going to pull up a calculator real quick. I'm not going to share the screen with you, but I'm just going to write in these numbers. So we're going to start with $0. We're going to do this for 1 year. Let's see. Return is going to be, we'll do an 8% return to keep it conservative. Let's do 10. I think 10 is right in the middle. And then we're going to do, let's see, what I say, $8,000 a month. Hang on. I don't like this calculator. Hold on a second. Compound interest calculator. I don't like it because I don't understand what it's telling me. Here we go. Here we go. Now we're cooking. Okay. We're going to do 0, 8,000 a month. Oh, well, 100's fine. That's basically 0. Investment time span, we'll do 1 year, and the rate of return is going to be 10%. Okay, so if you did $8,000 a month for 1 year, you'd have in the bank $100,001 or $101,000. Okay, that's just 1 year. $8,000 a month for 1 year is $101,000. You know how much money you contributed of that? 96,000 of that you contributed. You made in interest $5,300. Woohoo! Super impressive. I'm so excited, Jason. Don't go crazy because you made $5,300. I know it's a ton. Now let's do that same number and let's do it for 5 years. Okay, so if you do it for 5 years, your balance in 5 years of doing $8,000 a month is going to be $624,000. Let me ask you something. If things go bad for you for a month or two, you think $624,000 will bail you out? You think that'll help when you get in the dog days of summer and the checks aren't what they used to be? Having a little $624,000 in the bank will make you go, oh, okay, I'll be all right with that. Now, keep in mind, that's just 5 years. Now, when you've done that, what you've put in, your investment or your contribution is $480,000. You personally have just pushed in $480,000. That's what that $8,000 a month for 5 years is. But your your interest now, you've earned $144,000 in interest. Here's the thing. Remember, we're doing 5 years. A minute ago, I said, what was it? We'll say $5,500 that you had made. So $5,500 times 5, well, that's only $27,500. So how did I make $144,000 in interest? If 55 times 5 is 27.5, how did I make almost 5 times this? Or 7 times that? How did I do that? Compound interest. Compound interest is your best friend. Because here's the thing. That $5,500 that you got in interest, guess what? The next year, it gained interest. That means that the money you make in interest makes money in interest, makes money in interest, makes money in interest. Now, most people don't make the kind of money we're talking about. They're investing $500 a month, $300 a month. There's a turnover point for them where their compound interest makes more money or their interest makes more money than their contribution does. So they'll see numbers where they've contributed a quarter or a tenth of what their money's actually worth because their compound interest took over faster. But we're putting in a ton of money. So let's do another set of years here. Let's do 10 years. Okay? If you are under 23 years old, drop a 2 or drop a 3 in the chat. Okay, so Mallory, Alyssa, Danny, Hannah, Lindsay, listen, I'm talking about when you are at max 33 years old. I'm 33, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm 33. I'm 33. My dad always told me at 30 you'll start forgetting, and I thought, whatever, you stupid old man. I can't remember how old I am most days. I really don't know. So 33 years old. This is how old I am right now, okay? At 33 years old, $8,000 a month, you would be worth, just wait for it, $1.6 million. You'd be a millionaire. You'd have been at 33. You would have already had been being a millionaire. You'd have had several years under your belt where you could go, yes, I am a millionaire. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to take that 1.6 million. By the way, in all of this time, none of you lazy son of a guns ever increased your income. You hit $25,000 a month and y'all just sat on it. How many of you think if you can make $25,000 a month, you can make $75,000 a month? Drop a 4 in the chat. How many of you think if you could make $75,000 a month, you could make $125,000 a month? Mm-hmm. Drop a 5. Mm-hmm. Drop a 5 if you think, look at all them black diamonds just coming in right there. Just bam, 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 bam. All them black diamonds. Pop, 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 pop.
Pop it like a top.
Y'all made black diamond the new ruby right there. Just bam. Just win it. So listen, this is your money just staying steady. We're talking steady. And money doesn't work like this. Money goes up and down. It has seasons. How many of you feel that right now? Money goes up and down, up and down, and up and down. Listen, September's coming, and you know what's going to happen in September? It's going to go up, and then it's going to stay up for the rest of your life. That's my faith declaration over your life right now. It's going to stay forever. So that 1.6 million, let's just take that real quick and just put that in. We're not going to add anything else for the rest of your life. Let's see, 1,600,000. Okay, that's okay. And we're going to let that sit for 10 years, never make another contribution. Okay, if that sits for another 10 years, do you know how much money you'd be worth? Sits. You're not contributing anymore. You can play with your $8,000 a month. It sits. You're not making any contribution. You'd be worth $2.7 million. $2.7 million. Now, let's just do something just for fun. I said at 5 years, you'd be worth what? About 65, 650, something like that? Okay, so we're going to go back to 650 at 5 years. $650,000. We're going to assume that somewhere in this process of 10 years, you can take it from $25,000 to $50,000 a month. So at $50,000 a month, we're going to go ahead and say we're going to figure out a way to invest $20,000 a month. If you'd like to do something crazy like that, drop a 6 in the chat. Okay, so we're going to put in $20,000 a month for 5 years. And if you did that, for those of you who were young, those of you who'd be 33 max, at 33 max, with 5 years of $8,000 a month and 5 years of $20,000 a month, that means somewhere in here, we're getting an average of an increase, okay? So 5 years of 8, 5 years of 20, you'd be worth $2.6 million.
It's just playing with numbers, guys. With
$2.6 million, just so you know, if you wanted to stop doing everything in your life, and we lower down to, let's go 30, we're going to lower down to 5% interest on this because we're going to put it in something conservative, and we're going to withdraw every month to live $7,000, okay? So this means that at this point, we're going to take a raise of $3,000 on our living expenses because we're going to live hard for a few years. We're not going to do everything that we can do. People are going to think you're worth a lot less than you are. You're going to have a lot more money than people see because you're not going to take every cruise that comes around. You're not going to go on every tropical vacation. You're not going to buy the Louis. You're not going to buy all that stuff. You're going to say, no, I'm going to hit target. I'm going to appreciate what I have, and I'm going to build this income in the bank. The average millionaire, by the way, this is a survey, the average millionaire, more than half of them only buy used cars, even as a millionaire. Oh, snap. You telling me I'm not getting a brand new Range Rover? Nope, I'm going to get a used one from a broke person. Okay? So if you had $2.6 million in the bank at a 5% interest rate, the calculator here says that at $7,000 a month, you're never going to run out of money in your lifetime. The interest will make it where you never have to work again. I just want to run this up a little bit. Okay, if you had $2.7 million at a 5% annual return, okay, it's not super conservative, but it's a little more. $8,000 a month that you're going to live on. You're going to withdraw $8,000 a month. You 33-year-old millionaires. You would be able to live on $8,000 a month without your money running out for 91 years. That means if you hit the biblical golden age of 120, you will die broke. But other than that, you're going to have money in the bank.
And your money's right.
And by the way, 2.7 million is not that much money. Now, I never share this, but I just want to inspire you a little bit. I do want to tell you, I don't have close to $1 million right now. This is all numbers. This is all from research that I do. This is all from reading the books. Most of the books I read are on money. By the way, none of this is crazy money stuff. This isn't buy this piece of property and flip it and then take a mortgage out on the third one. And then when you get to your seventh property, put a tenant in it. This isn't crazy stuff. This is invest in growth stock mutual funds. It is the safest way to invest in the stock market. Okay? And for those of you that are younger, just when you talk to an investment professional, tell them, I want to invest aggressively. Okay? But the number that I have in my heart for the next 12 years, okay? In 12 years, I'll be 45. I built these numbers around me, not Ashley, because it gives us the advantage because she's old, okay? But in 12 years, we want to have roughly $7 million. Because it's $7 million, I did the math earlier, $7 million, we can take out $20,000 to $25,000 for living expenses. This is a withdrawal. This means I'm not talking about making $25,000 a month. I'm talking about having fun with $25,000 a month. Hello, somebody. I think $25,000 could perk you up at 45 years old and find you something fun to do. $25,000 a month, I'd be able to live the rest of my life. I would definitely be able to live the rest of Ashley's life. Because she's old, because she's elderly. She's an old woman. So, but for real, $7 million. And listen, I know some of you go, $7 million, $25,000 a month, $50,000 a month. Listen, this is the kind of vision that you want to get. So a minute ago, I'm going to leave you with my last tip. This is probably one of my greatest tips I could give you. Most of you have to work on getting the vision for this. This is how you get the vision. This is how I got the vision for it. 2014, I had lost my job. It was a dramatic blow to my ego, to my career. It was devastating in my career. It was devastating. In that season, we started looking at going back into what I was doing. I tried to exit the career, but I needed money. So we started looking at me going back into the career. It had only been a few months that I was out, and I knew that I could get a job quick. As a matter of fact, I had offers in 48 hours. I know how that goes. I could probably still get offers within 2 weeks in that world. I sat down and the motivator was that we wanted to pay off our debt. And so I said, what if I could just make $50,000 a year, $50,000 a year, which by the way, was a pay cut for what I was making. $50,000 a year, we could get out of debt in X amount of time. And so I made that budget, saw that, looked at it on paper. And then I thought, well, what could we do with $65,000 a year? Well, what could we do with $75,000 a year? Well, what could we do with $100,000 a year? $100,000 a year is only $8,300 a month. So if we do $8,300 a month, what about $10,000 a month? How quick could I do this? I was just playing with the numbers. Well, what about 20,000? What about 25,000? What about 30? What about 35? What about 40? What about $45,000 a month? What about $50,000 a month? And I made budgets that went all the way up to $50,000 a month. And when I tell you that Ashley joined for $500 a month and I said yes to $50,000 a month, I am not throwing that out as an arbitrary number or a number that preaches good. When Ashley joined It Works, I had a budget for what $50,000 a month could accomplish in our life. And it gave me a vision that has helped steer the course as our income has grown. And so the last thing that I would really encourage you to do is sit down and create a budget for the most astronomical numbers you can think of, and then create a budget from where you are. So you need to be on a written budget for whatever you're making today, $2,300 a month, or $2,300 a month, whatever that is, up to whatever the astronomical number is, and then do that in $5,000 increments. So if you're making $2,300 a month, you need to do 23, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35 to whatever. Okay? And if you do that, what it's going to do is it's going to show you what your money can accomplish. Some of you, I said, who wants to make $25,000 a month? And you said, yes, me, sign me up. I want to make $25,000 a month. I want that kind of money in my life. And you have no idea how much or how little it actually is. But if you'll sit down and you'll budget what that looks like, cost of living, investing, saving, taxes, you're going to be able to get a vision for what income looks like. I can tell you, one of the reasons that I am confident that we will be a Black Diamond tribe is because I'm getting my brain around what $100,000 a month looks like. And I would encourage you to do the same. Start getting your mind around big money figures. Yeah? So Cheyenne, I'll turn it back over to you. And
wow. Who is ready to freaking make some money, y'all? Like, literally, I'm just so freaking excited because before I got on this, I was like, I know and I can feel it. And I was talking about this to another leader about how I can sense that there is a huge season of growth coming. Like, just so much growth and so much harvesting and so much. And that's just what I kept saying. I was like, there's just so much. Like, I just feel eager and excited for more. And I was talking about this to a couple leaders today because I feel it, like in my, that feeling where you get in your stomach where you're just like, I want more. I want more for my family, more for my future. And I was thinking about it today. And I was like, I keep going through the seasons. Like he was talking about the seasons of money and how it goes up and it goes down and there's this and there's that. And I think about what I want and I'm in this forever. Like, this is my career. I made this my lifelong choice. And I know that so many of y'all have too. And it's just a season of growth and a season for more. And so tonight, hearing from Jason talking about this, like, you have to decide what you want and how much more that you want and what kind of abundance that you want in your life. And, so many of us on our team are so young. And I remember when I joined this, I didn't have a vision for this. Ashley says it on her Zooms all the time. You don't see it. And then you see this and you hear him talking about it and you'll see how much your mind changes about money and how you feel about it and what it does. And I know for me, seeing my parents and what they did and like me never thinking this could be me and then joining this and being 20 and seeing that I've done it, if I can do it, every one of you on this can do it. Because especially if you're on my team, you see what I do every day. There's nothing special that I do. I just work every day. And just like Ashley and Jason do too. They pour into their tribe, which I'm sure your tribe on here, y'all know. You're like, yes, they do. That's why they are where they are. So decide what you want and decide what books you're going to read and how you're going to pour into yourself to decide that this is a season of growth. So let's freaking go and get your mind to where Jason says $50,000 a month. That's a lot of work. Oh, he said yearly. That's nothing. Like, get your mind to that because it can be. So thank you so much. Everybody say thank you to Jason for doing this. I'm so excited because I'm ready for more. Just being able to see those massive paychecks. How many of y'all are ready for more? And I wanted this to kind of be a halfway point, kind of halftime. Like, okay, this was my year. I've made this much. I'm kind of ready to reevaluate that because I've spent way too much money. I've not done anything smart with it because I had to have that talk too. And I'm sure they did at one point. Just, okay, like, let's get serious. Let's budget. Let's make a financial plan. Everyone does. So maybe you haven't made the best choices up to this point, but now it's time. Now it's time you kick it into gear and you get a plan and you get ready to go because we're ready for growth and we're ready for more money, more opportunity, and abundance. So I love y'all. Thank you so much, Ashley and Jason. I appreciate y'all. And I'm going to have this up on my YouTube after this. So excited. See y'all next Monday. Bye.